You're deep in the wilderness after a long, exhausting day on the trail, and your body craves rest. But if your sleeping pad isn't up to the task, you're in for a rough night. I'm breaking down the top backpacking sleeping pads of 2025 so you can wake up refreshed, renewed, and ready to take on whatever the trail throws your way. All right, I want to share how I test and rate sleeping pads, and I want to encourage you to at least include these characteristics in your discernment process. And the first thing that I'm looking for is comfort, because the right pad can mean the difference between feeling like you've wrestled a bear all night or waking up refreshed and ready to go. And comfort depends on thickness, stability, and firmness, especially for side sleepers like me who need extra support for their hips and shoulders. Because the last thing you want is a mattress pad that bottoms out. Do you know what I mean by bottoms out? Either the air deflates because it's not made very well, or because the mattress pad is too thin. If you've ever woken up sore after a backpacking trip, not because you've backpacked like a champ, but because your sleeping pad wasn't sufficient enough to keep you off the ground, you know the struggle. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you some sleeping pads that will help you sleep in the backcountry almost as comfortably as you do at home. Now, the second thing I'm looking for and how I rate my sleeping pads is weight. Ultralight pads sacrifice comfort for weight, but heavier pads provide luxury at a cost. So the trick is finding the balance that works for you and the type of trip you're taking. So one of the biggest mistakes backpackers tend to make is not researching their mattress pad and bringing something that's way too thin or way too bulky. And so I'm going to show you how to shave pounds without sacrificing that comfort. Now, the third characteristic that's important to me is durability. Don't you hate it how some pads last one season while there are others that survive years of adventure? A flimsy pad that pops and leaves you sleepless on the cold, hard ground is no good. So which pads have the best chance of actually lasting? Now, the fourth thing I'm looking for is warmth. You need more than a good sleeping bag to keep you warm. If your pad isn't insulated from the cold ground, you're losing body heat fast. And so I'm going to show you the R value of each pad. The R value of the sleeping pad measures its ability to keep you warm when you lie down on the cold ground. R measures how well your pad resists heat transfer. The higher the R value, the greater the sleeping pad will resist the heat leaving your body and keep you insulated. So the higher the R value, the greater the insulating power, and the warmer you're going to be. Now you know. All right, the fifth and final thing that I'm rating because it's important to me is the price. A high quality pad is an investment, period. It just is. Cheaper pads are going to sacrifice comfort and warmth and durability, but premium pads are going to offer better material and longevity and performance. And I want a premium pad because the last thing that I want is to get out 5 days into the middle of the backcountry and for my pad to break, and then I have to sleep on leaves or pine needles for the rest of my trip. I've done it before. I don't want to do it again, and I'm willing to pay a little bit extra in order to have a sleeping pad that's going to hold up and go with me as far as I go. Also, think about your sleeping position. If you're a side sleeper, you're going to want to go with a little bit thicker pad to keep your shoulders and hips up off the ground. And if you sleep on your back or your stomach, a thinner pad, which is also going to be a little bit lighter, might be sufficient for you. All right, coming in as the fourth best backpacking sleeping pad of 2025 is the Sea to Summit Comfort-Lite Insulated. This pad is extremely comfortable at 2.5 inches thick. It is very durable. The top is 30D nylon, the bottom is 40D nylon, and it has reinforced air cells. The R value, the warmth on this sleeping pad is 3.7, which is pretty solid for most conditions, particularly if you're a 3-season backpacker. And the weight of this sleeping pad is 20 ounces. So this sleeping pad is best for backpackers who want a little bit of warmth without too much bulk, especially for those who are stomach sleepers, back sleepers, but maybe not for someone who is a side sleeper. The ComfortLight Insulated weighs 20 ounces. That is a great weight, particularly for backpackers that are just starting out. You can see the cell design on this pad, and it's just a really great pad. I recommend this pad to participants on Ravello adventure trips, and this is the favorite pad for 2 of my children. This is just a really comfortable pad. It is 2.5 inches thick, so it's not too thick, but it's perfect, especially for side sleepers and back sleepers. One of the things that you'll notice about this pad for the price and by its design is that it's stable, but it's not going to be quite as stable as some of the other pads that I'm going to show you. But I really, really like the Sea to Summit ComfortLight Insulated sleeping pad. The MSRP on this pad is $219. I see this pad on sale quite often. You can get it for less than MSRP. So keep shopping, find your deal, and grab this sleeping pad. I give this pad a 4.2 star rating. Okay, so one of the questions I get asked a lot is, should I buy a mummy-shaped sleeping pad or a rectangular-shaped sleeping pad? And really, it just depends on your preference. Let me break it down for you. Mummy-shaped sleeping pads weigh slightly less, but the best reason to buy a mummy-shaped sleeping pad is if you're going to sleep opposite one another in a 2-person tent. In other words, someone's head's going to be on this side and someone's head's going to be on this side, and because the mummy-shaped sleeping pad is tapered at the feet, you both get a little bit more headroom. Does that make sense? A rectangular shaped sleeping pad does have a slightly bigger footprint, and it will be slightly heavier, not much, but I tend to buy rectangular shaped sleeping pads because I find a rectangular pad best for the hammock, because that rectangular size actually spreads the hammock a little bit better for me. And so whether it's a mummy shape or a rectangular shape really depends on the use. So what do you use your sleeping pad for the most? Buy accordingly. All right, coming in as the 3rd best backpacking sleeping pad of 2025 is the Sea to Summit Ultralight XT Insulated. You can tell this one has a lot of wear and tear, a lot of use on it. And that's something that I want to just point out in this review. I'm not reviewing pads that have been given to me. I am reviewing pads that I have purchased and taken and used hard. I hope my experience not only provides value for you, but also helps you make the best decision you can possibly make for your sleeping pad. The Sea to Summit Ultralight XT Insulated is 4 inches of pure comfort with quilted air-sprung cells that really have kind of a softness to it. Some people feel like this texture is a little bit rubbery. I like the rubber texture because A, it doesn't crinkle like chips, and B, I don't really slide around on this sleeping pad very much. I really like this Ultralight XT Insulated. 4 inches thick, this is the thickest pad on my list. The R value is 3.2. Now that's not very high for a backpacking sleeping pad. In fact, it's the lowest in my review. But if you're backpacking in the summer months and you're not going to get below freezing, you don't need an R value that's any better than this. If you do want this sleeping pad with a higher value, you can get 2 times the R value, 2 times the resistance with the Ultralight Extreme. Another great sleeping pad. All right, the Sea to Summit Ultralight XT Insulated comes in at 18 ounces. You can see this is just an awesome sleeping pad. With this pad, you get a little bit more stability than the ComfortLight, which I really like. This is so often my go-to sleeping pad for my summer backpacking trips in the Northern Rockies. I really like the weight of this pad. I like the comfort of this pad. I like the thickness of this pad. I mean, who doesn't want a 4-inch thick pad when you're a side sleeper? This is super comfortable. The MSRP on this pad comes in a little over $200, but this is on sale all the time. In fact, I just picked up an extra one for participants on my adventure trips because I love this pad so much. The Sea to Summit Ultralight XT Insulated gets a 4.6 star rating from me. You cannot go wrong with this pad for all that you get for the price. All right, let's have an honest conversation about sleeping pad inflation. In my humble opinion, pump sacks suck. I hate these things. They are absolutely worthless to me. I think they take more work than inflating by mouth. I think they take up too much space. I think they're frustrating. I just cannot stand these. I really also don't like it when they are woven in to the stuff sack because it just takes up more room than I want to take up. So every time I get a sleeping pad with a pump sack, I throw the pump sack away. Okay, so I understand that inflating a sleeping pad at high altitude, especially after a long day of backpacking, can be very difficult. But what I am finding is that if you take the time to take deep breaths and blow completely out, usually between 30 and 40 times to inflate a sleeping pad, it does regulate your nervous system. And so breath work associated with inflating your sleeping pad is a pro tip that'll give you a little bit of peace, it'll calm you down, and it'll actually help you enjoy dinner better and sleep better. Now, all that being said, if you're ditching the pump sack and you really just don't have the energy or the breath at high altitude to inflate your sleeping pad yourself, I want to share with you the Flextail. This little Flextail air pump is absolutely amazing. I got one of these a little over a year ago. I've taken it on 4 trips now, and it is a game changer. Okay, the second best backpacking sleeping pad on my list for 2025 is the Therm-a-Rest NeoAir XLite NXT. This, in my opinion, is the best ultralight option that you can buy. This stands out to me because it is incredibly lightweight at just 13.6 ounces, and it packs down so small. And this is the new improved version for 2025. And the claim is that it is 83% quieter than those older models that sounded like you were laying on a bag of Lay's potato chips every time you rolled around on it. And I can tell you this is quiet. I do not have that problem at all with this pad. I really, really like it. All right, I want to show you how this Flextail air pump works. It comes with a charger because the battery is rechargeable, so you can charge this on your computer or in an outlet. And it has these different attachments for the various valves on different sleeping pads. You just put the correct attachment on the end, and then you secure it to the valve. 1, 2, and you're off. Let's time it. Pretty amazing, huh? All right, the NeoAir XLite NXT is 3 inches thick. And this is pretty darn durable despite being an ultralight backpacking sleeping pad. It's got 30D nylon and advanced internal construction that makes this pad surprisingly rugged. The only time I've ever had one pop is when my dog jumped on it, getting into the tent on a super cold night. The Therm-a-Rest has an R value of 4.5, which is really solid for a 3-season backpacking sleeping pad. And it weighs 13.6 ounces. 13.6 ounces. That is insanely light. This is a great ultralight backpacking sleeping pad for anyone who wants warmth without extra weight. The MSRP for the Therm-a-Rest is $239, although I see this one on sale every now and then, and I would encourage you to shop for that sale. This is just a really good sleeping pad, and I give it a 4.8 star rating. You cannot go wrong with this sleeping pad. If you've got the money, it'll do you right. Hey, I'm Matt, and I lead Christian men and pastors on wilderness adventure trips to epic places for refreshment and renewal. Grab my free download, The Best Camping Experience Gear Guide, the very best high-quality outdoor clothing, gear, gadgets, and tools I own, use, and recommend you put in your pack. The link is below. All right, the very best backpacking sleeping pad for 2025 is the Nemo Tensor Extreme Conditions. Wow. This is an amazing sleeping pad. It is warm, it is quiet, it is extremely stable, and it doesn't have the slipperiness of a lot of the ultralight sleeping pads. This is extremely comfortable at 3.5 inches thick. The Nemo Tensor Extreme Conditions is just an amazing sleeping pad. The durability on this is tough. The top is 20D nylon. The bottom is 40D nylon. So this pad strikes the right balance between lightweight design and tough durability that's going to resist punctures better than most ultra lightweight options. Now, the R value, the warmth of this sleeping pad, wait for it, is 8.5. That is a solidly warm sleeping pad, especially if you want to dip in to the winter months or take some cold weather trips. The weight of this sleeping pad is 17 ounces. That is super lightweight for the warmth that you get in this sleeping pad and the stability. This is the most stable sleeping pad of the lot. Absolutely tough and stable. I love this pad. I slept with this pad in my hammock when it dipped down to about 24 degrees last month, and it kept me warm even without an underquilt. This is a legit, ultra lightweight, 4-season backpacking sleeping pad that comes in at an MSRP of about $235. It is pricey because it's bougie, but if you've got the money and you were just going to buy one sleeping pad that would take you anywhere and everywhere, that would be durable, lightweight, and warm, this is it. The Nemo Tensor Extreme Conditions, my #1 pick for the best sleeping pad of 2025 with a 5.0 star rating. Guys, your sleep is mission critical. If you don't rest well, everything else suffers. So investing in the right sleeping pad means investing in your physical and emotional well-being. And it makes a big difference between a good adventure and a great one. So I want to know which sleeping pad you like the best. Drop a comment below and let me know. And remember, don't just buy high quality outdoor gear and clothing. Get out there and use it. See you on the trail.